Hey, greetings! Welcome back to Sean's Irish Whiskey Shelf, coming at you from the heart of the United States, out here in the Great Plains, the Midwest. And what I have for you this evening are 3 bottles of cask strength Irish whiskey. Now, all 3 of these have been featured on the channel already, but I kind of wanted to highlight cask strength a little bit. When you go and get a bottle of whiskey, unless it says cask strength or barrel strength, there's another description that you might see on a bottle of whiskey is barrel strength. Same thing. What they typically have done at that point is, if it doesn't say that, they're going to take the whiskey out of the casks or the barrels, and they're going to water it down to get the whiskey down to whatever alcohol percentage they want. Typically for Irish whiskey, it's in the 40 to 50 range ABV. So that's 80 to 100 proof. When you look at a cask strength whiskey, they're taking the whiskey out of the barrels or the casks and they're bottling it without any watering down. Some might put just a tiny bit of water in, but for the most part, when you're talking a cask strength whiskey, that's the whiskey that comes right out of the barrels. Whiskey purists out there will say that this gives the whiskey the opportunity to really shine. You can get that full-bodied flavor, and if it's too hot for you, has too much of that ethanol burn, then you, as the end user or end drinker, can drop a little bit of ice in there to kind of cut that burn back a little bit to your taste. Which means that if you're someone who really likes that full-bodied, in-your-face kind of ethanol burn, cask strength is it. I mean, you're going to get it, and that's full flavored, full bodied right there. So not a lot of whiskeys on the shelves behind me here are cask strength. In fact, Blue Spot, the Irishman, and the 3 bottles of Redbreast that I have, that's it for cask strength. There's one exception, and that's the Sonderabfüllung. That one, that is the highest ABV Irish whiskey I have on the shelf. And it doesn't say cask strength, but I'm willing to bet it's probably cask strength or pretty darn close to it, since it is so powerful. There's so much alcohol in there. So I wanted to do 3 bottles though that I know are cask strength. They say they're cask strength, and we're going to give them a try real quick and kind of compare them. They're all excellent drops of whiskey. I'm telling you right now, there is not a slouch in any of these 3. So don't think I'm going to try one and go, yeah, what was that? That ain't going to happen. So let's start right off with the elephant in the room, Redbreast. Now this cask strength is their 2022. I have their 2021 and 2021 and 2020 edition up there. This is their 2022 edition, 58.1% ABV. So that works out to, let me do my quick math, that's 116.2 for proof. And since it is the 2022 edition, you're going to find that once it's gone, unless you can find it, maybe on a resale site or something. But they make it once, and then they're moving on to the next year. So, all right, Redbreast, 2022 cask strength. Yeah, that is fine drop of whiskey. The flavors are there. Yes, it has the alcohol burn. It has that ethanol heat to it. That's going to light you up, and you're going to know you're drinking a cask strength right there. But my goodness, I mean, just for the flavors of that, oh, folks, if you like Redbreast, and you want to try something, Redbreast 12, Redbreast 15, and you want to try something a little stronger, you got to get a cask strength, because you're not going to be disappointed. It's a single pot still. It is 12 years. So I can't say enough about Redbreast, and definitely about their cask strength. I find, since I've been trying the cask strength, I find their regular Redbreast 12, it's a little bit weaker for my taste. I guess since I have Irish whiskey in a cigar almost every night, and my palate is changing a little bit, I think I'm getting to the point where I would rather drink something like this and drop an ice ball in it and get it down to my taste, than to start something, that's like an 80 proof Redbreast 12. Excuse me, don't get me wrong. Redbreast 12, 80 proof, yeah, that's a fine drop of whiskey. But I think I'm starting to like this a little bit better. So, all right, let's move on. Hang on one. All right, let's move on to the Irishman. Now, the Irishman, this is also a 2022 vintage. This is their cask strength, and it is 54.9. So you're looking at 109.8 for the proof. Again, the Irishman cask strength, as I recall, was a very good drop of whiskey. Let me see here. They only made 4,900 bottles of this, and this is bottle number 2829. So it's kind of cool. They put the number right on there. Matured in a bourbon barrel, and they use malted and unmalted barley. So this is not single pot still. This is a blend. These two are single pot still. This is going to be a blend. So let's see how old the Irishman 2022 cask strength goes. That's another good drop of whiskey. The ethanol burn, it's not quite as much as the Redbreast, to be expected, because it's not quite as strong as the Redbreast. And because it's a blend, you're not getting that true single pot still flavor, which is still my favorite. This has a little bit different of a taste profile to it. I can definitely taste some of the single malt in there. Really, and overall, it's a fine whiskey. I would never, ever turn it down. And it's another one of those whiskeys that if you happen to see it and you want a good bottle of whiskey, you can't go wrong. And it's a one and done also. It's a 2022. So, if you see it, you got to jump on it. So, especially if you like blended whiskeys or you're a fan of the Irishman. So, yeah, can't say enough of that. And I can't say enough of thanks for the people who have liked my videos, subscribed to my channel. It means a lot to me. It really does. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing it. It keeps the YouTube algorithms happy. If you like what you watch, take a second and go down and click the thumbs up. Don't forget, I answer every single comment. You can leave me a comment on YouTube, leave me a comment on Facebook. As I always say, I'd love to know what you're drinking, and I'd love to know if you agree or disagree with my selections here. So drop me a note. I'll answer every one of them. All right, let's finish up with Blue Spot. Now, Blue Spot is a single pot still, like Redbreast. This is only aged 7 years, though. So Redbreast has 12 years on it. The alcohol in this is 58.9. Gee, where did we hear that? Redbreast? Isn't that 58.9? Oh, 58.1. See, I was wrong. All right, so this is going to be the strongest of the three, 58.9. That is, what is that? 117.8, if my math is right. So this is, going to be the strongest, but it's only 7 years. So we'll see how that comes out in the taste, comparing the 7 to the 12. Also interesting to note, both of these are from Middleton Distillery, the powerhouse that just churns out some great Irish whiskey. So there's nothing going to be wrong with this, I can tell you right now. Now, this is not dated. They don't do a 2022 batch, a 2021 batch. There is a date code on the back, and I'm going to do a video coming up soon to tell you how to read that date code. I did hear from Middleton, and they told me how to decode it, so I will share that information with you in an upcoming video. But anyway, let's see how this goes. This one actually appears in the glass anyway to be the darkest of the three. Interesting. So, all right, Blue Spot. For having just a teeny bit more alcohol than Redbreast, I think it's a little smoother than Redbreast. Not by much. Not by much. But I think the heat is turned down just a skosh in that Blue Spot from the Redbreast. We're going to do them back to back here in just a minute. Its flavor profile is also a little bit different. While we are talking single pot still, this Blue Spot seems to have a little bit more of a sweetness component to it. Let's see here. Matured for at least 7 years in bourbon barrels, sherry butts, and Portuguese Madeira casks. So it goes through a little bit more of a change of wood, bourbon, sherry, Madeira. Redbreast, let me see here, just oak, triple distilled and matured in the finest oak casks. So that's where the sweetness comes from. This goes from the bourbon into sherry, into Madeira. So yeah, by nature, it's going to be a little bit sweeter. For me personally, I think I like the Redbreast a little bit more. Even though this is a little bit smoother, I think I like the flavor profile of the Redbreast. The sweetness just isn't 100% my palate. Again, nothing wrong with it. I'll drink any bottle of Blue Spot y'all want to send me. We'll drink it together, and I won't turn it down. But I think the Redbreast is probably, of these three, is going to be my flavor profile the best. Now, Blue Spot, like I said, it does not have a batch date on there, but it's also not the easiest to find. If you want a spot collection and you see Blue Spot, you better grab it while you can, because it's hit or miss, just like Yellow Spot, just like Red Spot. Green Spot is really about the only spot that you can find on a regular basis. So, all right, real quick here. I want to do Redbreast and Blue Spot one time, just quick back to back, verify my my blue collar palette here. Yeah, I think Blue Spot is just a wee tiny bit smoother than the Redbreast. They both have that ethanol burn, that heat, but this might be just one little click lower than the Redbreast, but I gotta hand it to Redbreast. That is my flavor profile right there. Single pot still, not going through a bunch of other things. That's me. I love it. And I hope you do too. So let me know. Drop me a line. Tell me if you've had any of these, what you think. And that's all I have for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. I thank you for watching. I do appreciate all of the views that I've had. I'm having fun still. We're getting up close to 50 videos already. Heck, I didn't think I'd make it to 10, but we're getting on close to 50 and still going. Got plans to build a real bar in here sometime within the next year. So doing good things and enjoying my Irish whiskey. So until we meet again, which should be next week, I want you to enjoy your Irish whiskey, because any reason to have a drop of one of these whiskeys or any of these back here is a great reason to have Irish whiskey, right? But do it responsibly so you can be here for the next video. And I'm not even going to try to tell you what we're doing next week, because every time I think about it, I change again, and then I figure it out right before we start filming. So just be here next week and you'll see what we're doing. And until then, I want you to be well and be safe, all right? Sláinte. Bye now.